Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. SleezBall here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is going to be my week 6 tight end tier list. So you're going to see a Ballerz tier at the top that I think will be the top 5 scorers of the week based on matchups, etc. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. And then we're going to try and find some sleepers if tight end is even possible with how bad it's been. Actually, last week was like the first uptick for tight end, so that was a good sign. Now, on the box below me, you're going to see the bye week, which is Luke Musgrave, and the injury. Well, Pat Frymouth is also on a bye, so that's kind of both, but he is injured out with the hammy for 2 to 3 weeks. We don't know if he's back for week 7 yet or not. And then I put Greg Dulcich and Jelani Woods down here because they're on IR. Dulcich is supposed to come off. Jelani Woods, still no update on. I really want to see him out there for the Colts. He's a monster body, something to pay attention to. And let's start balling, baby. Let's dive into it here. So, my number 1 tight end, I feel like the game is coming. The Travis Kelce monster game is coming here against Denver. This is going to be an absolute thrashing. The problem is will he score early enough? I know he's dealing with the injury. It might be just Pacheco and maybe some CEH sprinkled in along the way the whole way this time. But I feel like Travis Kelce is getting a touchdown at 70, 80 yards this game, which is immaculate for the tight end position. Maybe even a 2-touchdown game. Denver is so bad that it's just, it's unwatchable now. At number 2, massive value just happened for TJ Hawkinson. So the injury to Justin Jefferson going to IR, and we don't know if the Vikings are out of contention by the time he gets back or whatever it is. TJ Hawkinson is now the number 1 target that's going to be out there. I'm not buying that it's going to be KJ Osborne or Jordan Addison or anything like that. TJ Hawkinson is now going to be a monster value at tight end. They get the Chicago Bears, who are very weak versus the tight end as well. And now that he's the only guy, the problem is, will he be the focal point of the defense now? Will they, try to take him away? Will they not? That's yet to be seen. It's still super hard to take away either way. He's an elite level tight end, 100%. Now, number 3, Mark Andrews. Now, with the Ravens' run game that has been just atrocious since the J.K. Dobbins injury. Let's be real. I don't know what is going on with the staff at Baltimore or the ownership or why they're not going after a running back like, say, Leonard Fournette, or let's trade for Dalvin Cook, or let's do something like that. Their offense has been just putrid, man. It's just bad. Now, they get the Titans, who are going to stop the run. Last week they didn't against Zach Moss, which was very strange, but Zach Moss got like 2 breakaway runs that made his game look massive. This should be a pass volume game for Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews could very well be the number 1. All 3 of these guys are like interchangeable. I'm just going with the Travis Kelce big game to pop out. But these are my top 3, possibly every week at this rate right now. Number 4, the rookie doesn't stop. The number 1 tight end in football. It's unbelievable. Sam Laporta last week coming off 2 touchdowns. But I still have this temper expectations thing with him because not everyone has been out there healthy this whole year. I want to see this offense with Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, everyone out there healthy, Josh Reynolds. That's why Reynolds has been balling, and that's why Laporta has been balling, because the missing games, like Amon-Ra missed last week, Laporta was a huge play. Jamo got his first game back, getting his feet wet. Before that, Jamo was out. It's always been split around. He's still so good. I've seen people put him at tight end 1, over these guys I just named. I think they're prisoners of the moment at the time. I still think he's a top 5, but I'm not willing to put him over the 3 big dogs yet. At number 5, coming off 3 teeters with a FU Dallas shirt on, Kittle diddle diddle down the middle, popped off. Brock Purdy loves him. But again, if you've watched any of my previous videos of wide receivers, running backs, whatever it is, all of the Niners players are up and down roller coaster ride, pop-off game, small game, pop-off game, small game, pop-off game, small game. So it's going to be really hard for me to be like, oh, Kittle's going to go off again, because there's so many weapons in San Francisco. But I do think he's a safe play for a top 5 tight end almost weekly now. The Niners offense looks so good, it's damn near unstoppable. At number 6, he finally woke up here a little bit, guys. Little wake up for Darren Waller. Saw 11 targets, but now I honestly feel like this is going to be a sit-em game for Waller. but with the tight end position, I still have to put him at 6. Going up against Buffalo on Sunday night, he's going to be the only focal point they face, that they target. Even if Saquon is back, which I think he's going to be, Von Miller's supposed to be back too. I know they're missing Tre'Davious White, but the Giants receivers are terrible. I mean, this is the only guy they have to worry about covering. I think teams are going to start to realize that. Darren Waller is a great talent. It's just the Giants' offense is so hard. It's almost like it's a sell high, but with how bad the tight end position is, I don't really know if you can sell high, So I'm going to put Darren Waller at 6 this week, heading into it on Sunday Night Football. I think he could have a decent game, but I feel like he's going to get bracketed and covered harder than people think. I think it's going to be a rough game for him 100%. At number 6, Evan Ingram. Okay, so is the question here with him is he was very productive, right, through the first 5 games. First 4 games. He was the only wide receiver or tight end to average 8, plus points a game as a safe floor play. But is Trevor Lawrence going to have that 20-point game, 30-point game here anytime soon? I'm starting to get a little worried about what is going on with Trevor Lawrence. I know they just beat Buffalo, which is massively huge, but again, he did set 8 targets again. So I mean, he's averaging 7.5 targets a game for a tight end, which is insane volume. And they get a great matchup here against Indy. Indy's secondary is not great. They're decent with linebackers versus tight end, nothing great. But I just need Lawrence to pop one. I need to have him to big game to move Evan Ingram back up. I was low on him. He's still getting great volume. I mean, I can't take him outside the top 10, but it's Trevor Lawrence is making me really, really nervous. I feel like they're going to find a rhythm here against the Colts, but I'm still going to leave Evan Ingram at tight end 7 at the moment. Now, number 8, I almost put him at number 5. Dallas Goedert. Sirianni said, we're going to figure it out. We're going to get Goedert the ball. Bang. And Goedert popped off last week. 22 fantasy points, 2 teeters, and now he gets the New York Jets, who are number 1 worst versus the tight end. I mean, I'm hoping again that he can see 9 targets in a 100-plus yard game again, which is massively insane. Actually, he only had 1 touchdown, my bad, not 2. But he had 117 yards, 8 receptions, and a touchdown. That's the Goddard we're used to seeing. I think we're going to see it again because you're going to have Sauce Gardner on A.J. Brown. That's going to be a little lower game for him, probably because Sauce is that dude. And this should be another big, big Goddard game here coming this week. I almost put him 5, but I'm going to leave him at 8 for now. At number 9, this guy just continues to produce nonstop. So it's like they drafted Luke Shoemaker, I think late 2nd round or early 3rd round. So it's a high draft pick that they wasted on a tight end. But Jake Ferguson is the guy. I mean, it's target city. Even though last week he had 3 for 3 for 28 yards, that's the Niner D, man. The Niner D is insane. They get the Chargers. This should be a high fly 'em scoring game. I think Ferguson's going to be one of my favorite DFS plays this week. They don't cover the tight end that well at all. I know that Derwin James is back, but they're going to be on CeeDee Lamb with him. He's going to be bracketing coverage over top. This should be a smash 'em Jake Ferguson game. He does still have 30 targets through 5 games, which is almost tied in 7 in volume of targets. At the timer, he's tied at 7. So I like Jake Ferguson a lot. I think he finds the end zone this week as well. My next tight end, who knew? Desmond Ridder just threw for 300 yards. What happened? Kyle Pitts woke up. They figured out that they have to pass because they're going to tee off on the run. Everyone knows now that Arthur Smith, all he does is run the ball. And then randomly, when you think that Desmond Ridder is going to lose his job and you're going to see, Taylor Heineke come in and everyone starts to panic, all of a sudden you have this big monster game for Kyle Pitts. He literally saw 11 targets, guys. 11 targets. Through the first 4 games, he had 18. So that just tells you right there, they opened up the playbook a little bit. I don't know if it was just the Texans game. It wasn't like the game script got out of hand and they had to pass. That was a close game the whole time. And they won 21-19. So great showing for Kyle Pitts. And if you held him, you're feeling a lot better now than you were at all during the season. They get a terrible schedule, though, coming up versus tight ends. or versus defenses versus tight ends. Their next 4 out of 5 games is all top 5 defenses versus tight ends. That is worrisome. But they get Washington this week. This is gonna be one. I was saying earlier in my other videos, this is gonna be one of those ugly games. I feel like, just like the Texans game was. I'm hoping Kyle Pitts keeps breaking out though, because he's so talented, and this is just in the wrong system, and all of a sudden he has a big game. Everyone's right back on the Kyle Pitts train just like that, because you know the talent that he brings every single time he's on the field. Heading down to number 11, he found the end zone again. He's going to find the end zone again this week. He gets Minnesota. I have Justin Fields as QB1. The Bears are about to start the Rumble. Their schedule is amazing. Cole Kmet, now 3 touchdowns through 2 games. You have to love that if you have a tight end. You probably dropped him at the beginning of the year and you don't like it now. I really think that he might end up as a top 5 to 7 tight end by the end of the year. And I love the value that he brings right now in this game versus Minnesota. I mean, no Justin Jefferson. This should get out of hand. This should be a massive Fields game, massive DJ Moore game, massive Kmet game. We don't know who's going to play running back yet. Could be Foreman or, Roschon Johnson. But I really, really like Cole Kmet coming into this game. At number 12, the old man, Logan Thomas. Let's do it now. Let's go like this. We're going to swap this mid-video because I really didn't like Evan Ingram that high to start with anyways. Logan Thomas, I'm going to put at number 7 and break it down to you here why. Last week, when the Texans headed up Falcons, I said bench Nico Collins. I got so much thrash back on Twitter and everything. Everyone, why? He's coming out 34 points. Dude, the Falcons' corners are nuts. Okudah and AJ Terrell is probably the best duo in football playing corner right now today. They are going to lock up Terry McLaurin. They are going to lock up Jahan Dotson, and they are terrible at guarding the tight end. Now, Logan Thomas just saw 11, I think it was maybe 13 targets last week. I think it was 11, but let me check it real quick here as we're going, because I know I played against him, which really hurt me. The guy picked him up like 1 second before he played me too. I was so mad. Where is he here? Okay, here we go. Logan Thomas last week, I was going off the top of my head. I don't want to get it wrong. Yeah, he had 11 targets last week. So 11 targets, caught 9 of them, 77, and a touchdown. And he was open on another one that was missed. I think he has a massive game here versus Atlanta. If he is on your waiver wire, he is a startable top 7 to me tight end this week. I like him so much versus Atlanta, especially DFS or anything if you play like that, or best ball drafts you do in weekly. I like him a ton this week. At 13, they're finding rhythm. My videos from weeks 1 or weeks 2 or weeks 3 were all about why are the Texans paying Dalton Schultz $9 million to not use him. That is too high of money. That is Josh Jacobs running back money that they invested on getting Dalton Schultz out of Dallas to the other side in Texas to Houston. Now, boom. Touchdown, 2 touchdowns last week. Dalton Schultz is finding his rhythm with CJ Stroud. I did say that he would have a big game though last week based on the Atlanta corners. I'm wondering if that will continue. It's going to be a little tougher matchup versus New Orleans, but you are going to have Marcus Lattimore on Nico Collins again. And the Saints secondary is pretty good. They are also very good at stopping the tight end, so that is why I have Dalton Schultz lower. He is on a hot streak right now. And it's hard to bench a hot streak, especially at the tight end position. So I'm going to keep Dalton Schultz at number 13 for now. Number 14, the production is just nonstop for Zach Ertz. It's like you don't want to start this guy because it's Zach Ertz and it's the Cardinals, but you have to start this guy. Like, it's gotten to the point now with his targets that it's almost a must start weekly. So he now gets an amazing matchup versus the Rams. The Rams are really bad at stopping the tight end. He has 34 targets on the season through 5, like 7 target a game average. He still had a touchdown, his first touchdown of the year last week at Cincy. Cincy was also bad at facing the tight end. His upcoming schedule is 5 out of 6 bottom of the barrel defenses versus tight ends. And then his playoff schedule is amazing. If he stays on the team, if he's not a trade target and they don't try and, get a draft pick and have Trey McBride step in, which is something you should think about right now. If they do that, Trey McBride will be a monster pickup. But at the moment, you have to ride it till the wheels fall off. And Zach Ertz has such good matchups coming ahead. It's insane. I like Zach Ertz at tight end 14. Tight end 15, they're coming off the bye. David Njoku, I'm waiting for this game. I'm waiting for the breakout game for him. I'm waiting for the red zone targets from last year. He was number 2 in red zone targets last year, and it just has not been the same with Deshaun Watson this year. Now, if you look at what Jake Ferguson just did with the 49ers, you're going to be like, well, David Njoku gets the 49ers, and it's tough. That's true, except I feel like I just feel like they're going to feed him more. Like he's more talented. He's more athletic. He's a bigger body. Anytime you're in the red zone, and their run game is not going to do anything. Like if you have Ford or Kareem Hunt, you're not starting these guys versus the 49ers. Like, come on, look what happened to Tony Pollard last week. This should be a more pass versatile game for them. Amari Cooper and Njoku should see more volume. He's just got to find the end zone. But I was super high on him coming in too, so it's like disappointing. But I have him at tight end 15 this week. At number 16, he's coming back to life. Hunter Henry. Okay. He was tight end 1 through the first 3 weeks. And Mac Jones was balling. And all of a sudden, the Patriots, I don't know what to say about the Patriots offense, but they get the Raiders. I mean, look at the tight ends that ate on Monday night. So I know Musgrave got benched for that little debacle with the coach or whatever happened. I saw a bunch of tweets that he did something wrong and they benched him for the whole quarter. Dude, they had these random guys still wide open. I don't know any of their names. I cannot even remember the names, but I know they got like 4 to 5 catches. And this should be a Hunter Henry eat game. He's the focal point of this offense. The Raiders are not good at stopping tight ends. This should be a good play. If you don't have any of these top 15 guys above, I would like to throw Hunter Henry next. Coming on down the wire here, it's super tough. Tyler Higbee kind of got, I don't want to say like phased out. I mean, it became the Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua show now. That really, really hurts. I know they gave Tyler Higbee a massive contract. They get the Arizona Cardinals. This should be a smash play. It's just I know it's only one game. I don't want to get like over exaggerate or whatever it is, because he only saw 2 targets last week, I think, or 3 targets and 2 catches. Let me pull it up so I know. Again, I go off the top of my head on all this stuff. By the way, I'm not like reading nothing. So, 3 targets, 2 catches, 20 yards. That's not consistent to what he was doing before. He saw 11 targets the week before Cooper Kupp got back. So that just tells you right there that 8 targets were shut down, and he played Philly last week. Philly is one of the worst defenses versus tight end, and I thought it was a great matchup, but it just looks like, Stafford loves his boy Kupp, man, so it makes it really hard. And I hope it doesn't continue throughout the season that way, but it's honestly might, man. Okay, heading down to 18. I don't know if you guys know this, but Chig Okonkwo finally, for the first time all year last week, had a game, or had a decent enough game to where you thought, hey, it's okay to even pick him back up. I know it's the Titans. It's so untrustworthy to even, think about. But he had 9 targets for a tight end. 9 targets last week. Before that, on the season, through 4 games, he had 13. So he almost doubled his targets, even though he had 5 catches for 33. Still good sign that he's getting more involved. I know Treylon Burks was out. DeAndre Hopkins still had a massive game, and they were behind against the Colts, and they were passing heavy. And the Colts run D's pretty good. So, they shut down Henry a lot. They let Tajay Spears score at the end. But still, Chig is early season starting to come around. Pay attention to him on your wire if he's there. If he puts together back-to-back big target games, I'd say pick him up. I'd say don't waste any fab or high waiver on, one game of 9 targets. That's not enough for me. But I still think it's something to definitely keep your eye on. Number 19, Tyler Conklin. So I'm going to fall for this again. So just like I said with Tyler Higbee, right? So you get Philly. Philly's front is nasty. Breece Hall will be on my sit-em after a monster game. Like, everyone makes fun of me after a monster game. No, they played Denver, bro. Everyone runs on Denver. But Tyler Conklin still had decent showing. And Philly, like I said with Tyler Tyler Higbee, they are really bad at stopping the tight end. Like they're going to key in on Garrett Wilson and they're going to key in on Breece Hall, and Tyler Conklin is going to be open for a decent game here. He still had 4 catches for 67 yards. He still had a solid 8.5 game for a tight end at a position that everyone struggles. That's great. But now getting a defense where it's going to be open and they don't cover that well, I honestly could have moved him up higher, but Zach Wilson is that wild card, right? I don't know what Zach Wilson would get. I thought he was going to ball out last week and he did absolutely nothing. It was all the run game. So that's always my point with the Jets of why I just try and sell them all, it's just tough. I mean, if Zach Wilson could ever consistently put together 3 games, I'd find excitement in it, but it just never happens. So I can't do it. Coming down here, I know he got a concussion. So Dalton Kincaid got knocked out of the game. Really has not lived up to anything yet, but I think we're overreacting to the moment of like how good these rookie tight ends have played out the gates. In like the past 4 years, there's only been Kyle Pitts in his rookie year to ever have like a good tight end rookie year. So don't jump ship, drop him and panic or whatever it is. This offense is still too powerful to just let this guy sit on the wire. Even after a concussion, I'd still hold on to him. They play the Giants Sunday night. Could be, a big game, but it also could get out of hand. But when those games happen, they don't like rest the rookies. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to see Dalton Kincaid resting if the Bills are up 20, like Diggs or like, James Cook or something like that. This guy needs the reps. He needs to be out there. He still was getting massive tight end 1 usage the whole way through. Although Dawson Knox sometimes would have bigger games, it's hit and miss. Hasn't found the end zone yet either, which is bothersome. But I still think I still like Dalton Kincaid a lot this year. He just hasn't produced yet. But I'm saying don't drop him or anything. If he's on your wire, I would stash him. If you have a spot that's open, he's still a decent play to me. At 21 is the most usage of any tight end in the NFL. It is Cade Otton. So I kind of like have these sneaky like calls I try to make on him that haven't really hit yet. But I mean that's the name of the game, right? But he gets Detroit this week. So Detroit, this should be actually a high-flying game. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Even though Detroit's run D is phenomenal, their pass D is really weak. They're going to key in on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. This could be a game where Cade Otton finds the end zone. I mean, he was really good with Brady last year. If you guys remember down the stretch at the end, and he's just getting into his groove. He plays 98% of snaps. He never comes off the field, and volume is king. And in a game where I think it's going to be high scoring, this is what you want. I could honestly see Cade Otton being higher. He just hasn't produced enough for me yet with how much he's out there, so it makes it tough. But I'm going to leave him at 21 for now. At 22, we're going off the IR list over here. The Joker, the Dolchmeister, Greg Dulcich. I was so high on this guy in best ball, everything coming in. It didn't work out in the preseason. Like Adam Troutman won the job. And if you've seen Adam Troutman's numbers for the Denver Broncos, you're wondering why he even won the job to start with. So now you're going to get a little versatility. So he's like a Joker tight end. He can line up wherever. He can line up in the backfield. He can come around, swing, everything there is. And Cortland Sutton's been playing decent. So is Jerry Jeudy. Now they're finally going to have another little weapon for Russell Wilson. And everyone struggles at tight end. I honestly am putting I call him the Joker, Dulcich, lower this week just because it's first game back, so I'll temper expectations. So I'll probably play like 50% snaps. But I do like him season long, like a lot more than some of these players above. And I've always liked his skill set. 23 is going to be Gerald Everett. I've never been a fan of Gerald Everett. But now that we're down to the nitty-gritty of tight ends down here, it's really tough. He's going to get the Cowboys Sunday night. Should be a high-scoring game. I mean, the 49ers just dropped 42 on them. The Chargers defense isn't very good either. I could see this game being like 35, 32, 38, 35, somewhere around there. A lot of points flying. And you got to think that they're going to key in on Keenan Allen, right? I mean, they're going to try to at least. I know Diggs is out for the Cowboys. The front should be nasty enough. The Chargers offensive line isn't that great. So, I mean, it should be it should be short kind of passing intermediate game. You might see Gerald Everett have a bigger game than normal, honestly, at this point. And the Donald Parham thing, I brought him here. I'm not fully ever sold on. I know that he was like tied in 6 through 4 weeks with 3 touchdowns on like 5 receptions. I don't. I'm gonna put him next to him like that little mini me. I'm not on the Donald Parham train at all. At 24. So for the first time, I'm gonna put Hayden Hurst first of all is 24 right now. But for the first time, you saw Bryce Young kind of open up last week, right? It wasn't a lot towards the tight end, which you normally would see with rookies as like a security blanket. He only had 3 targets, 3 receptions for 21 yards. But still, you got to like to see the good sign of, Bryce Young at least open it up a little bit. I mean, it was really ugly to start. I mean, Miles Sanders has been terrible. Chubbas look better. They're starting to bring him in. You finally saw Jonathan Mingo have a decent game. And DJ Shark and Thielen are actually doing good. They're actually like flexible assets right now in fantasy. Super tough tight end play here though with Hayden Hurst. We're at the bottom of the barrel, so I'm gonna put him 24. At 25 is gonna be Irv Smith, who just dropped a goose egg last week, but that was the entire Jamar Chase show last week. That was something crazy to watch, man. 3 touchdowns, almost 200 yards, 19 targets. You're not gonna see that every time for Jamar Chase. Irv Smith is a pure dart throw at this point. I mean, they get Seattle, who's not very good versus tight end anyways. I mean, if you're like decimated with injuries, this is like a late throw, and that's about it. So I have Juwan Johnson leaving Kylan Granson down here. Juwan Johnson was a late scratch last week. Kylan Granson has been nothing really. So back to this injury thing on the left here, I really am looking forward to see Jelani Woods. So if you're looking for a tight end or need one, pay attention to those injury updates. See if he's coming off IR. There's nothing yet. I haven't seen anything yet. And make sure Freiermuth and Musgrave are out because they're buys and injured. And remember, 22 right here in the ranking. I really like Greg Dulcich. I want to see what happens with him this week. I know it's going to be his first week back, but pay attention to that. I am on board with that. Now, that's it for my tight end tiers for week 6, guys. If you guys like the content, as always, scroll down below, smash that like, smash that subscribe, help your boy out. I'm trying to bring you the best fantasy football content to help you win your leagues. And my next video will be defense and kickers. And I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.